I'm the mom who knows nada. My name is Brianna. This is the Mom Who Knows Nada podcast. Anyway, this is Sabrina. She's an acupuncturist and fascia specialist of Taj-Taj Acupuncture. And she's going to tell us all the goodness about it. Let's start with this basic question. What the heck is fascia?
So fascia is basically your connective tissue, and it's everywhere in your body. From the tip of your head down to the tip of your toe. It's inside even like the little fibers of your muscles. It's everywhere. So most people, I think, if you look at the spider web, because everyone has seen that image of a body that has spider webs around, and it's that. So that's what, the fascia is. And so it's everywhere. And it's really what they say allows your muscles to move. So because it's within your muscles also, and so that's what moves your body around, and the push and pull, because of the whole fascia, like it allows you to do the movement and everything. And so having that, it's in your muscles everywhere.
So it's really important. Makes you function.
It makes you move. It allows you to get up. And then that's the issue that people have that they're not realizing, is that they do little micro tears on their body. Like, you're working out, you're like, oh, I tore my muscle. And people are just like, oh, whatever, I'll get better. But what actually happens is that you tearing like the spider web. And like when you go through a spider web, how all of a sudden it gets bunched up. And then, it gets hard, right? It's hard and it becomes like a little mass. So that's scar tissue in your body. So a lot of people, not only so when they have a surgery, it causes you're breaking through the fascia. So that's one type of scar tissue that you get, that you can actually see the visual from outside. But then inside of your body, every time you're working out and you do I pulled a muscle, I hurt myself. That's it's like interior micro tears that cause scar tissue, which causes pulling in your body. And that is kind of like a domino effect. And it causes pain in a different, and now I'm just jumping all over the place. So it causes that. And so with years through the line, it'll start pulling because it's really strong. And then it moves. And then wherever you have another weakness in your body, it'll cause pain there.
Well, yeah, because there's pulling from one side to the other. So if it's stressed in one area, it's not going to be as illustrious in another, if that tension is, okay, I'm picking up what you're putting down. What misconceptions do people have about fascia and its function in the body?
Well, one, they don't even know what it is. I'm going to say 90%. That's even being generous. I think not very many people know. It's a very new concept. Obviously it's always been here since, the day that we were created, born, all that, but it's not something that's known, because everything is skeletal or it's muscular, and they separate it that way. And then organ function, even though fascia is actually all over inside your body everywhere, but it's, it's a spider web. And half the time, how many times have you walked into a spider web? You don't see it until you feel it, right? Something. So I find that's what's happening now. People are I don't know what that is, but they're feeling pain. So this is what, how it's coming out more. And, in our society, particularly in the United States, people are, I'm going to say beasts in a negative way. Everyone's oh, I'm a beast. I can keep on going, work hard, play hard. But then now they're all fucked up. So
fair. That is a fair statement.
And that's, I myself just fell into this, I don't know how many years ago. And it was through a massage therapist friend of mine who was talking about these tools, particularly these tools. And it's Ashley Black is the one who created these tools, and she's become very famous kind of all over the place with these tools. And she created this whole thing about how you don't have cellulite, it's just tight fascia. And so that's how it actually became known all over the place. Yeah. And so that's, her slogan basically, and she does everything. And so, and of course, and then women, you don't want cellulite. So it became very, like, it's a vanity thing. So many women got into it this way. And then my very vain friend, I told her about this and she bought everything. And so she started doing this and I little by little learned. So I started with this thing. My girlfriend, again, she bought the tools and she started doing it on herself. And she was kind of looking at, tutorials, this and that. And I was like, and she would break out in a cold sore every single time she did it. And I was like, oh, that's really bizarre. And again, not knowing anything, but since I have a massage background also, and all sorts of different body works, it's like, hey, come into my office. I'm going to do it on you. We're going to play with it. And then I'm going to do an acupuncture treatment just to kind of boost your natural immunity and to see how it goes. And so she came and lo and behold, she didn't break out in a cold sore anymore, and so that's how it kind of started going. And then she was, and then we'd like play on each other and we start like just, practicing guinea pigging. And then she had no more like neck pain because she would go and get chiropractic help all the time and just to help her. And she would just get, her neck would get out and she'd just be like done, and she couldn't work for a couple of weeks. And then her neck pain started going away. And I was like, that's really cool. And then I was like, oh, let me just start doing it as a, little thing to my whatever patients I have. Because I've always been in California before I moved to Florida. I was really just pain. Like that's, a body worker. That's what I like to do. And when I really, really just became what I call the fascia enthusiast, that's my little nickname that I've created for myself. But I had a migraine sufferer that would come in, and she was the type that had like the glasses on. She had a migraine pretty much 24/7. She would come in. Yeah, it was gnarly. And she came in one day, and I'd been working with her for a couple of months, and she'd feel really good. And I would do some massage, and I'd relieve her for like a couple of hours, and then it would come back. But she was, it was crazy. And then I just decided to use this tool and start to break down the fascia in the back of her neck. So, cause she had the tension headaches from, that was in the occiput that would go up in there. And I started working on the back. And after the first session, and not even like crazy, we just did a little bit, she didn't have a headache for 2 days. And I was like, this is the holy grail. And it was finally that light bulb moment for me that connected everything in my head. Cause I was I love acupuncture. I love massage. And this is why I've always combined them together. For me, I was, like acupuncture by itself, it's fantastic, but it wasn't my calling. Massage by itself was fantastic, but no, when I combined the two, I was like, this is it. This is my jam. And then when I found Ashley Black's things and fascia, I was like, this is the answer to everyone's problems.
I totally agree with you. And this just from my experience, the migraines, I've always had migraines ever since I was a kid. And a lot of it is just like tension, deeply rooted tension, childhood trauma, all that stuff. And, I feel it when I play tennis. I've had migraines during matches. And you're like, how do I do this? And I always know I have to stretch and then I need a massage. I need something to and I can tell you it also comes down to I had a shoulder injury. So all of this connective tissues all muffed up. And, even though there's I have one rib missing, fun fact, people, I am a supermarket special, just one rib short of a wreck. What happened to that animal? So even though that one little rib is moved, everything else is overcompensating. So my husband laughs at me and I'm like, no, I literally need a massage. I literally need to go to acupuncture. I literally need cupping, all the things to loosen that.
Yes. And I will say not only because you don't have a rib thing, and this is what I tell this to everybody. And this is again, going back to the fact that Americans are, beasts. Again, not positive. People here work out like they're a professional athlete, right? They work out every single day. They like between running, lifting weights. Yeah, this is totally like every single person I know. They do all these things and then they do nothing to fix their bodies because they're just like, I'm fine. I'm fine. Versus athletes get massaged, cupping, acupuncture, cryotherapy every single day. And this is why they can maintain their bodies working, right? But
I love that you pointed that out. If you've ever watched Tom Brady's, like his healthcare regime, not only like what he puts in his body, I'm not a huge Brady fan, but his whole, I mean, he's adorable, but football teams aside, he's not my favorite. But what he does to maintain his physique and why he's been able to play for as long as he has is absolutely insane. And it's all the things you're talking about.
no, it's not insane. That's what you have to do to maintain a healthy physique when you work out as much as he does and anyone else. Like I personally don't need that much because I don't work out like crazy like that. But I'm getting there. But people, like, I watch people all the time and then they're like, oh, well, I stretched. And I was like, well, one, I know that you didn't stretch every single day. Let's just start with that because most people are like, I have 45 minutes or whatever amount of time to get my workout in. And they're like, oh, I will do my 5-minute stretch later. And then they're like, oh, I'm just going to go home. So they don't do it. Yep. Two, stretching is active movement. It's still exercise. You're still engaging your muscles, and so, yes, it's great, but this is why you need massage or someone else working on you because you actually allow your muscles to relax and someone else is going in and allowing it to heal versus, doing a stretch, which then is engaging, whatever, which then is pulling, here, whatever, and so you have to do it.
Let's talk a little bit about the ways like fascia can be maintained from acupuncture, massage, cupping, like what makes fascia function?
It not being in a knot. Working it out. So again, Ashley Black has tools and I personally like to teach people how to do it. And I really try to, any person who comes in, I will show them everything I do because you really need to be doing something every single day. If you're working out, and or if you have an injury, like you have to do something at the daily, like we wash our face on a daily, we brush our teeth on a daily because we want to maintain, good oral hygiene and not have cavities and all that kind of stuff. It has to be a daily. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes of intense thing, just even something. And I always tell my patients when they come in, just work on your jaw because your jaw is one of the 5 strongest muscles in our body, and it can hold up, this is my little trivia, 75 pounds of weight. So if you're tight, you tighten, lifts here, and then it causes tension and it can trickle down again to your whole entire body. Yes, don't even touch your pector. Like this is ridiculously tight. You just because no one gets that work done either. They don't work their scalenes, which are super tight.
That's funny you say that because I notice like the tension in my neck, not just the back of my neck and shoulders, but the front now. And I'll like do like neck whenever I feel it. I'm like, okay, do some neck exercises. Just like work it out.
But again, you're doing active movement, which is not actually relaxing it. So someone else doing it is great. But if you actually, again, get a little tool, you're not activating your muscles. So, and I love her face blaster or the gua sha. You've seen people that are now using a lot for facials, for lymphatic drainage. You can do that on your neck. You can do that on your chest, and you're not really activating any of the muscles on this side. I mean, granted, you're using a hand, but it's not the same as which is moving everything. Okay. Mm-hmm. And the thing, I'm going to throw my other one. So I always tell people their neck, the jaw, and your hands and feet. Because everything, and so in Chinese medicine, everything starts in your hands and feet, which is where the meridians start and go. So by, working on those, you get the flow going and it works throughout your whole body. And that's, the Chinese energetics to, make things flow, because I can't think of another word in my head. But it's also something that no one ever works on. People's feet, which hold you up, and you're constantly walking, and we're wearing all sorts of usually pretty shitty shoes, because the really, like, the ones that are good for your feet are really ugly, so no one wants to wear those. So like your feet are like, they're jacked up. And particularly, and I've gone from both coasts. So I was in California, which, flip-flop nation, to Florida, which, holy shit, flip-flop. Like, it's tenfold because it's always so hot here, and that's what you do. But the gripping of your toes on the flip-flops, again, it's a domino effect. This is tightening. You tighten here, it tightens your calves, and then it goes up and up and up, and it's tights, and it's not good.
I've noticed that. I mean, I've lived in California too, so I've got a lot of flip-flops. But I've noticed, like, here, the way my toes grip. And it's probably because I'm older now. I've noticed that. I mean, I've lived in California too, so I've got a lot of flip-flops.
Yeah.
But I've noticed, like, here, the way my toes grip.
Well, because you're sweating so much. No, because you're sweating so much. Like, I haven't stopped sweating since I've moved here. And I used to sweat in California. So here, it's fucking disgusting. And I'm so sorry I curse so much, but that's part of my personality.
I curse a lot too, so I'm surprised I haven't. So let's go back to microneedling. How is it different, and what do you use it for?
Okay, so microneedling is more cosmetic. That is usually for wrinkles, the dark spots. Yeah. So that's what it actually does. So it's a little pen that has like 12 little needles in it, and there's different depths to the needles. And so you go in through the whole face to actually, bring awareness to the area by doing little micro tears into it. And so your body wants to heal itself, which that's also what acupuncture does, right? It sends signals to your whole body, be like, yo, there's a problem here, let's fix it. So, and that's the same thing with microneedling. So you're going all over, you have these little micro tears all over your body, your face. Your body sends, red blood cells, white blood cells to start, activating and working again, which then allows collagen to start producing again. Because if you don't move it, it just gets stuck, and then your body's like, oh, I don't have to do anything, and then your face starts to fall. But this helps to like boost it up, and it plumps it up, and then you glow.
I like that.
Yeah. And it doesn't have any, it doesn't have any poison. It doesn't really cause any damages. I haven't found a negative to microneedling personally. I'm also not really aggressive the way I do it. Let's nourish the skin. We can do a little bit, but then you have to put some like serums to boost it up. So every person who comes to me, the evening, they're red in the face. But the next day, their face is glowing, and they just, they look much better because it's not as aggressive. I don't think aggressive is good. Like, I really
I don't think aggressive is good either in any way.
And it's too harsh. And then you just, it's the same thing when people work out. They're like, and then they can't fucking lift something after. And I'm like, what's the point in working out so hard that and I remember, so I moved, and this was years ago, and I had a cousin who was really into lifting weights. And he couldn't fucking put his arms around a box or something. And I had to do all the heavy lifting. And I was like, what's the point? And my mother was just like, he just looks pretty. That's the only thing he's, worth. Because I swear he couldn't lift anything. And I was the one also lifting the couches, he was just the prop. There's nothing functional about it. And that's why a little bit goes a long way. That's why we see a lot of yogis, which I hate yoga. I hate yoga. so much. I know it's very beneficial for you, but it just angers me, so I can't do it, and I just get angrier and angrier. And that's also my emotion. Like like everyone has an emotion, and they have, and that's so. I'm gonna go back into fascia, and that's how I found out that my emotion was anger, because a lot of stuff actually pops up when I've done fascia work, and I've had patients. And this is when it gets a little more esoteric and a little more like, mind body kind of connection. I would have patients that would leave my office and then be like, I was great, I was wonderful. And then I just started crying. And I was like, oh. And so in Chinese medicine, any kind of grief or sadness is associated to the lungs. So then by knowing this, I would do treatments to kind of like open up the lungs to kind of get all that out. And they just felt so much better. And I've had other people the same thing. Like I think like all those repressed emotions, you finally kind of get them out.
Yeah.
So,
sure.
but so yes, so mine's anger. I found that out after I did a treatment my friend did a treatment on me, and she was a little too aggressive. And then I saw red. Like the whole room turned red. And I've only been that angry once before that session, and I understood crimes of passion. And I just remember being like, you need to get the fuck away from me because I'm going to hurt you. Like I was so angry that I was like starting to cry, and I'm not a big crier. And I was like, oh, but I find that I released a lot of that anger. And that's, I think, what fascia work also does. And again, this is more the esoteric kind of thing, because I think that your mind processes things, but your body doesn't, and you keep it inside. Like it's that person who, they're just like, I don't know why I always get sad in July, because something happened way, way back then. They processed it in their head, it's gone, but their body didn't let go. Same thing with like cortisol, they say like when in the fight or flight, it gets stuck in your fat, and this is like when you plateau, you can't get rid of it. So I have found that doing this fascia work does both of those things. So it allows that repressed emotion that you've processed mentally get out of your body. And then this, and also get rid of all that old stuck cortisol, which, they kind of go hand in hand, and get it out. And so some patients have used the bathroom a little bit more, and because that's how, flush out toxins in your body. Oh yeah. I've gotten phone calls being like,
whoa, nice. That's kind of awesome. So for all of these treatments, like cupping, we can talk about a little bit more of that in a second. Microneedling, acupuncture. Do you have to have certifications for these? Or what's that process like with fascia work? Do you need anything like that to do it, or?
The fascia stuff, no, because it's really, you can just get the tool and do it yourself. It's, like you can, and again, Ashley Black has videos everywhere. She wrote a book. So it's really great. It's a DIY, and you can learn. I personally don't do it all the way she does. At least from the beginning, I think it was a little more aggressive also, and she's kind of switched the way that she's teaching it to others. So no, with the fascia, you can do it yourself. Acupuncture, yes. You need a lot of fucking schooling, like a lot. A lot.
I knew the answer. But
I can show you, I can show you my student loans to let you know how much it likes to, like, it's ridiculous. And you have to do, every single state is different. So, like California, you have the California state board exam, and then there's the New York, board exam, and you have to take those, and you can't practice in the other state unless you have to pass their exam. Now certain states, they have a national, so you can take another national exam, which is fucking expensive. I'm just going to throw that out there. Like, acupuncture is I call it the rich man's medicine. Like it is so hard. It's not that it's hard. It's just, it's a lot, and you don't have as much help as you do for like, you know, if you want to be a doctor.
Yeah.
You know, like it's a very different. And when you graduate, you have to build your practice versus I think that medical school already has things kind of in place, and you know, you've done your residency, so you've done this, that, versus acupuncture. They're like, congratulations, you graduated. Here, good luck. Peace out. And then you're like, So I actually know a lot of acupuncturists who don't practice because they needed money. And it took too long. But I was lucky because I did massage, so I always had that income until I grew my business. But so anyways, so yes, so you have to have a license for acupuncture. Massage, it depends on the states, but a lot of them also you need a license. Microneedling, you have to have a license and then to do it. So you can only, in pretty much everywhere, you have to be an acupuncturist because you're allowed, because you've done all the clean needle technique things, because there's blood involved.
Yeah.
You know, so you,
Right.
you know, you have to have all the proper equipment, the sharps containers, do everything to properly, you know, get rid of needles, that kind of stuff. So cupping, unfortunately, you do not need a certificate or you don't need anything. And a lot of practices have put it into their, you know, modalities. I'm going to say it pisses me off because people are really, again, fucking people up because they haven't had any. They're like, oh, how much damage can I do? I'm like, a lot. And so people are, again, super aggressive about the thing. They don't know how long to keep it. They can't recognize how the tissue's doing. And so I wish that it was more regulated sometimes, but anyways, because cupping is amazing. Cupping is amazing. It's I call it a backwards massage because usually massage you push in versus the cup pulls out, and so it does, you know, and so like it kind of releases the muscles in a different format because not everything works the same on everybody, you know. So
true.
and that's why when I have people come in, they're like, well, what do you think? This, that. I'm like, whatever works for you, great. And I will move and I'll switch what I do. Just try it, you know? And I'm going to say this also about acupuncture. And then I had literally someone came in and started talking to me about their dad and that he was, you know, he had a back surgery and he's like, oh, he's already tried acupuncture. It didn't work for him. And I'm like, one, all acupuncturists aren't the same. They're all different, you know, and I'm like, how many doctors do you go through before you get something that works for you? So just because you've tried it once, you never know. Try somebody else, you know, even just keep on trying because if not, you're going to be in pain for the rest of your fucking life.
True. I love acupuncture. Oh, everybody thinks I'm crazy, my husband included. I'm like, acupuncture's been around for thousands of years. There's got to be something to it. You know, they're just, come on, people.
And so also there's so much to it that now Western medicine is poaching all of acupuncture stuff because how many PTs, massage therapists, whatever, they're all doing cupping, right? Mm-hmm. They all do trigger point release, which is acupuncture points. And now they're doing dry needling. So if you actually look, anyone who's been injured, it's dry needling. Again, it's too aggressive. Putting a needle into someone is not a certificate worth thing. It is, you know, like you're going through, again, all the layers of the skin, the fascia, you're going through, you know, trying to bypass veins, artery, you know, like all arteries are really deep. Yeah. So if you get an artery, like, that's fucked up. You're like, fuck. But it's like, it's not a weekend course.
That's interesting. I didn't realize that about dry needling, that it was like the same thing without all the background and studies. Because the acupuncture, you literally have to learn about. It's just, chiropractic care too. When you get your doctorate in chiropractics, you have to do all the study with the body. Yeah, all of it. You got to learn all the different, how it's all connected, because you don't want to twist somebody one way and break their neck, you know? And you have to know how the ligaments and tendons and all that stuff works. Like, and when you're sticking people with needles, you know, you're gonna have to know that too, you know. Whoa, how deep is okay generally? What's there that I could hit? How is it different on different sizes of people? Like, come on.
You know, like usually with the massage, you don't draw blood. You know, with the manual work, you're not trying, you know, like. So that's the fundamental. If you do, actually, I mean, they bruise you for sure. Like some of those bruises are gnarly.
Oh, I've definitely been bruised before, but it was like well needed, you know. So we've talked generally about how these are all good treatments separately. How can they be integrated to promote better health and function, either separately or as like a care package, kind of just like to drive the point home?
The way that I microneedle, I do a full body treatment with acupuncture to make your body start to work better, because that's what this was happening. Your body is not functioning optimally, and so you start to get wrinkles and things start to sag. So I do a full body treatment. I know. And then I do the microneedling. So you get the whole thing. With fascia, it's also the whole thing, because I do the outside. It's, you know, a physical thing, exterior, that's going to help you just move better, feel better, all that. And then with the acupuncture, it really just goes into a cellular level and starts to heal you from the inside. So I think it's the best of both worlds, inside and outside. Integrating fascia and microneedling, it's, you know, as a woman, I like to do both because I want all of this to be great. Do you really need microneedling? No. You know, is it going to change your life? No. Will you look better? Yes. And vanity is very important to us. So, I mean, I have fake lashes on because I want my eyes to look, you know, a little nicer. I want no one to know my real age. You know, it's just one of those. I think everyone needs fascia work. Like everybody, you know. I even worked on my son yesterday because he's 10 and he is so tight, and I think that that's a lot why he had some growing pains and his legs were hurting him. And I touched him. I'm like, of course they're fucking hurting. You're like he's a wire inside of his legs. And, you know, and I was trying to work on him yesterday, and he was like, it was too much because he's so tight. So we're like working to make him just feel better. So I really think that little kids should get massages also. And I think all parents should like learn to do stuff.
I was just going to say, like, who's a good candidate for any of these treatments? For fascia work, for acupuncture, for cupping, like, we can leave microneedling out of that. But, like, you know, is there anybody who shouldn't get it?
Anything when you're pregnant, they say, you know, be, you know, cautious, whatever. I would say don't start, fascia blasting when you're already pregnant. But if you were doing it before, your body's already used to it, and hopefully you've removed a lot of the toxins already, so you're fine. Because that's another thing. It's like, you know, like when any kind of body work, it removes toxins from your body. So, you know, you don't want to like stir up toxins while you're like making a baby. But if you've done it, you know, but if you had really been doing it, you've already, you know, done the detoxifying, and so you can do it. Acupuncture you can do when you're pregnant. It's great. I mean, it's gotten so many women now pregnant. You know, it's used a lot for fertility, so you keep on doing it. They have like an acupuncture treatment for each trimester to make sure everything goes. You can keep on going. So it's really cool. Like there's yes, just do it.
What about preventative care? Can these be used to be preemptive of any issues?
Yes. All issues. Except stupidity.
I was going to say, what about mental issues? I might need some help.
So that's different. Mental issues, yes. Acupuncture helps tremendously for anxiety. They've been doing a lot of work on mental health, and it's been shown to really help tremendously. I personally do not do that. It's beyond my my scope, and I don't have the best bedside manner. I'm not good. Like this is why I don't do fertility. Like I'm not good. I don't like to hug. I don't like people. I don't when people cry. It makes me really uncomfortable. I mean, like I'll hold your space, and I try to be very respectful of it, but it's not. I'm not great at that. And so my kid is super empathetic, and he has all the things. I'm like, I need to work on that. So maybe in the future I'll be a little bit better, but
Damn it.
damn it.
Oh, I hate it when our kids teach us shit. So annoying. Damn it! Why'd you have to come give me this lesson, tiny person? Small human.
It's the absolute worst. And I'm like, I was doing so well before. How can you already be smarter than me? You're 10 years old.
Yeah, my 4-year-old is very emotionally intelligent, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And I am very sensitive, but I don't have patience for it. Really good combo. So I'm like, just take it. Suck it up. Oh, I need to cry. But let's talk. Where can people find, where can they find Taj-Taj? Yeah.
In St. Augustine, Florida. I am currently renting an office because I just moved here a year ago. I'm there and I'm looking for my forever office. In the next year, I'll have my forever office.
And all the treatments you talked about, from the fascia work, acupuncture, cupping, microneedling, all of these services are offered in your office.
I do. I offer those. I don't start with them usually. Microneedling, yes, you can get like a package and do that. Sure. I never start people straight off with fascia work. It's always, so we have an initial consultation and we actually have a discussion. What is it you're looking for? What is going on? I will never just do a treatment on you without telling you everything that it entails. Fascia work hurts. It bruises, it does. Like, it's not like a nice little massage where, you come out. So like it fucking hurts in places.
Good to know.
Yeah. Like, I know. And people are like, you sell it so well. I'm like, I'm just trying to be honest. Because I'm like, you'll feel fantastic after, and your range of motion improves. Like, you have all this stuff. Like, and even when you're working out, because in California, I had a lot of people who would work out, and they're like, oh my God, I was able to lift that much more weight, or, like I could just do so much more because, one, they get more oxygen flow. Everything is just working better. But it hurts. So usually the first session that you have with me is more just hands-on massage, just kind of feeling where you have things. We can kind of, and we'll talk about it. And there's like an acupuncture treatment. And then depending on however the patient wants to roll, maybe they just want straight acupuncture. If they're coming for anxiety and that kind of stuff, that's, acupuncture. Gut issues is acupuncture. But if you're coming in because you had back surgery, that's massage and fascia with acupuncture. So I definitely, go into that kind of area, or cupping. It just kind of, like sometimes fascia is a little bit too much for people right away. So we start with cupping, which is not as, aggressive. So we do little by little and start to get, the fascia to be a little more smooth. And then we can get in with the fascia and get in even deeper. So, I'm never going to do something on someone that they're not wanting to do. I don't force anything on them. And sometimes I'm just like, well, I'm not the one that's in pain, so I'm like, I can help you, like I can tell you, but I'm never going to force you to do anything, because if you're, I was, one of the things, like, I don't have very many herbs, and I don't have like a lot of supplements that I give people because I'm non-compliant, I don't take anything because I forget,
Yeah.
it's so hard. Like, it's so hard. I can do something for a month and then I'm done. Like, I don't do those things. So I'm like, I will tell you everything that I know. If I don't know something, I'll research it as much as I can. And I'll give you all the tools that I found, but then it's up to you. Because if you really want to heal, we'll try things and whatever, but I don't force people to do anything. And I also, like, people are like, well, how many sessions is it going to take? I'm like, I don't fucking know how much you're going to do when you get home. You know, like, because if you go,
I
like,
take 50.
because if you go home, and particularly when it comes to anything, again, muscular, this and that, like, if you're not doing something at home, it's going to take you that much longer with me, you know, because you're not going to see me every single day because no one wants to pay me every single day. I'm like, I would love to see you every single day because my bank account would love you. But, you know, like, people, like they won't come in. So I'm like, the more you do, the less you see me. The less you do, the more you see me. You know, and that's just kind of how it goes. The more, like, and everything is connected too. Like, you can't just come and have, you know, acupuncture and, you know, massage or fascia work or, you know, whatever, and then go home and not eat correctly too, because your body also needs to heal. So if you're eating like shit, it's also going to take that much longer, you know, because your body needs proper fuel, you know. So there's so many like little steps, you know, and I'll be honest and I'll tell you, but I'm like, I can see you every single day. I would love to see you every single day. I'd have an office that much faster.
I like your honesty though. Like, you're just calling it like it is.
Acupuncture is everyone's last resort. It's always the last thing. They have gone years and years and years, and they've tried everything else. And then patients come into acupuncture, and then when they don't have that miracle right away, they're like, well, that didn't work. And I'm like, acupuncture is on, like, it does miracles. 100%. But it really is, it's a medicine, and it also takes time, because the more you've seen other people, the longer you've had all these issues, it takes that much longer to fix things, you know? So I always tell people, like, the beauty of acupuncture, at least with the first session, you will feel more relaxed. And usually the subtlety of it is that you tend to sleep better that first night. So if that works, if you feel that, that's already starting to work, because you sleep better. It's the number one way to fix everything is sleep.
All right. So what about your social handles, website? You want to share those?
So my website is Taj-Taj Acupuncture.com. And acupuncture is spelled with one C, not two. I know people misspell it all the time. It's a hard fucking word to write too. Like, it is difficult. I still misspell it because it has a C, a T, and it has all these things. It's hard. My Instagram is at Taj-Taj Acupuncture. So again, you'll learn how to spell it. And Taj is like Taj Mahal, T-A-J. There's no dash in it because they wouldn't let me put it in there. But whatever. But it's real. The dash in my name is real. And then Facebook, same thing, Facebook.com/Taj-Taj Acupuncture.
For Sabrina Taj-Taj of Taj-Taj Acupuncture in St. Augustine, Florida. I'm the mom who knows nada. My name is Brianna. Thanks for tuning in. And have fun learning all the things you didn't know you needed to know.
Yes.